to the Everyday is a New Day podcast and live show, the inspirational show about moving forward and choosing to be more of you, transmuting the self-doubt and stepping into courageously aligned confidence in who you uniquely are. My name is Kim O'Neill. I'm a twice certified transformational confidence coach, Reiki master, best-selling author, and former crime analyst who now helps empathic, heart-centered individuals shatter the noise of self-doubt, find clarity on what self-love really looks like, and the courage to be peacefully grounded in who you've always known you are, from the inside out. Join me for the live shows on Facebook and YouTube, and visit KimO'NeillCoaching.com for more info. Let's get to it. All right. Welcome, everybody. Woo! Welcome to the Everyday is a New Day show. My name is Kim O'Neill, and we are going to have fun today. Fun. We are shifting energy. Energy is flowing, and it's all good. So I want to first say hello to everyone who's live with me today on Facebook or YouTube. Wherever you are, let us know that you're here. Say hello in the comments. Let us know what questions come up for you as we move through today's show, because we have a really fun guest who's going to also be providing everyone a special experiential treat today. I'm very excited about that. So let me take a quick look. I see a few comments already. Hello to Helene, who's already saying hello to us. Good to see you, Helene. And she's saying hello to Dr. Alison K, who is my guest today. Oh my goodness. And we have Lillian, who's also here with us, and someone in the Everyday is a New Day Facebook group. Hello to you too. Good to see you. And we have Betty with us. Oh, we're going to have fun today, everybody. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up today's guest. Welcome, Dr. Alison J.K.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here and play.
I'm excited too. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share.
Indeed.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share with everyone some of your background, so they have an idea of who you are, and I know people are here already do, but for anyone who's just getting to meet you for the very first time, let's fill them in on who Dr. Alison J.K. is. She is also known as the Lightning Bolt. She is an award-winning #1 international best-selling author and the founder of the Vibrational UPgrade System, a potent container of healing and activating energetics to activate the magic within. She's an experienced subtle energies practitioner and natural healer with a holistic approach towards helping others thrive in mind, body, and spirit. And, I love this part, easing humanity's evolutionary transition. She has over 25 years experience in all sorts of modalities. She's helped hundreds of people tap into greater meaning, success, happiness. And one of the things that she's also going to share with us today is her newest book titled The Dragon Master Creatrix, Conversations with a Female Spiritual Teacher for These Times. Welcome, Dr. Alison.
Hi, Kim. Hey, everybody. Really happy to be here with you. I grew up here. My mom put a poster in my room. I believe it was over my bed. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. I love the rest of your life. But I say, because I own it, my life.
Good. Personalize it. Own it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were experiencing shifting in energies today as we came together, and it was all good. It's all fun. I loved that I was hearing Dr. Alison K before the show. How does it get better than this? That is one of my favorite phrases because of how it opens things up and allows things to get better and better. Dr. Alison, you mentioned possibly taking our audience through an experience at the start of the show here. Would you like to tell everyone about that?
Sure. So I'm not, this is going to sound funny introducing myself this way, but it seems like it wants to happen. I'm not your everyday Westerner bringing in a modality. I spent 10 years in Asia studying subtle energy. I went there in great part as a question of, one of my first clients' package of 10 sessions, I had my hands over her abdomen, her solar plexus. I'm going to go right into the chakras. So solar plexus and her sacral chakras. And she was already getting great results. We were really both thrilled with the results. And so I looked up to my guidance, basically I looked up and I said, okay, so how do I get even more robust results for my clients? And within a month's time, I was on track to move to Asia, taking my localized public school system, teaching in the classroom, and then teaching Qigong and meditation to kids after school, mostly boys with ADD, ADHD labels in a club, and then teaching adults in the community meditation. So I was already doing these energy medicine sessions on the side as my second revenue stream with the classroom teaching. And the classroom teaching I wasn't like, I loved it. I'm a natural teacher, but I had a master's. I hadn't taken out much loans. I'd worked all the way through. And yet, even with basic desires like basic housing, basic car, organic food, massage per week, because those are preventative health 101 in my world, ends weren't meeting as easily as I wanted. And I also had already traveled around the world a couple of times, living overseas a couple of different times, and felt this sense of a cage. And so I was okay with that. And so those two things coalesced. I learned of the international school system, and I'm really cute. Look at what I'm doing. I asked you when we were talking ahead of time, don't ask me how did I get to this point, and I'm doing it.
That's how it happens. Isn't that funny? It's
oh God. But the bottom line is I'm a bit different than the other practitioners out there. And so I want you guys to feel what else is possible rather than blah, blah, blah. I want you guys to feel what else is possible. We're in these brand new times right now. One of the things that's happening right now, go ahead.
You know what? I was just going to say, I feel and I see the moment that I was introduced to you, I feel and see that you are different from other practitioners in the way that you're able to serve people. But I love that you are sharing your story of how things evolved, because that helps. I think that does help people click into, oh, this can be possible for me too. So I just want to say thank you for sharing some of that journey with everyone here.
Thanks, Kim. Yeah, you know, it's interesting your feedback right there, because when I was working with some different publicity people throughout. So I came back from that decade in Asia, having written my first book that came out of my dissertation for my PhD, with my mission of if people in the West only knew how much more thriving is possible by just going in and understanding and working with our subtle energy system, like the chakra column, as well as our consciousness, all levels of it, we'd have so much more thriving and so much less suffering. And so that is my mission, as well as professionalizing the field of energy medicine. And so why did I say that? Because
intuition?
Maybe that somebody needed to hear that. But the times that we're in right now are really, when you said easing humanity's evolutionary transition, and you really like that part, that's the subtitle. My publisher actually, and I think you actually had him on in your intro. I think you actually had on Keith Leon.
Yes. Oh, we love Keith. Oh,
he was awesome. I thought he's playing guitar, yeah, on your show. Yeah. He was one of my clients. It was pretty funny, and then he became my publisher. I don't know that it worked in that order, but he's published my second and third book, and because he's so perceived, because with his singing, what I'm up to, he said you have to include in your subtitle for your second. It's my second book, but my first book I published with him. The first one's with Hay House and Balboa Press. He said, you have to include easing humanity's evolutionary transition as your subtitle, because that is what I'm up to. It's funny. I came back and it got contextualized into the humanity's awakening times, 2012 to 2032, as I'm talking about what I just said as my mission.
Yeah, my community loves Keith too. So we love Keith.
He's so lovable. How can you not, man?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, the time that we're in right now, for example, the Earth is the closest, and it is going through the photonic belt for the first time in 12,000 years, which means a whole lot more light is showering down on our planet. Photo, light. It's what it means. The photonic belt is a belt of light. That's just to begin with. Sunday is our solstice. We have a series of 3 moons. We're just coming out of eclipse season, which lasts usually for about 6 months. This last new moon we just got last week was with the solar eclipse, which is you're going to love this because it's the theme of your show. We had before that super full moon that had the full lunar eclipse.
Yes.
And so then the new moon showed up last week. And with that new moon, we had that partial solar eclipse. So lunar eclipses mean eclipsing, ending. And full moons mean coming to fullness. New moons mean new beginning. But when you have a new moon with a solar eclipse, that's a double new beginning. So we're under those energetics right now as we're going through the photon belt leading into solstice. And each of these new moons for the past 2 months during eclipse season and this next one next week, they're all in my 3 signs, my ascending, my sun, and my moon. It's crazy.
Wow. Okay. So so you said something about double new beginnings, which I also hear as double endings. And every ending is another new beginning. And I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that's why I'm bringing this up for clarity. So my understanding is all the shifts that are taking place with the eclipse are helping out whatever endings may have happened be even easier to release and kind of click into those new beginnings. Is that accurate? Is that?
Yeah, but I would phrase it a different way. Hey,
okay.
Let's do it this way. The Voice America approached me in 2011. I had been back from Asia for a decade, from that decade there for a year. And I had the worst culture shock I ever had, no matter what foreign culture I was traveling to when I came back to live in the States. It took me a couple of years to really land back here again and recognize to some degree the society, because it had changed so much. I left 2 months before 9/11. I came back 2 years into Obama's second administration. So it was a really different world over here. And so Voice America approached me asking me to do a radio show around the Mayan galactic alignment on December 21st, 2012. I wasn't doing anything at all in my business with that. I was doing spiritual awakening, health and wellness, the yogic path, from a holistic perspective, health and wellness, and yet taking like clients on VIP sessions to the Mayan pyramids down in the Yucatan, which is just across the Gulf of Mexico from where I am now. But I wasn't publicly doing anything with the Mayan alignment, galactic alignment. And nonetheless, I asked them to hold on, give me 48 hours. I listened to my intuition. It was such a full, tingling yes, billboard size neon letters. And so I did it and learned from interviewing a bunch of specialists and experts, not only the scientists I had quoted in my first book, who are the ones who have development tools and equipment to measure subtle energy and the effects of meditation, but ones around the 21st of December in 2012, what it meant. And the Mayans weren't the only ones. Yogi Bhajan from the yogic culture, he understood it's an ending of one yuga or era and the beginning of a new one. And in astrology, it's the ending of the age of Pisces and the beginning of the age of Aquarius, right? So I would phrase it as what we're going through is a command. And we are either at the mercy of this vibrational backdrop we're living in that the stars are commanding, or are aligned with it, and we are riding the wave with mastery. So we have been in the first 9-10 years. If you take 2012 to go ahead.
Yeah, no. I'm hearing you. I'm feeling it. Go ahead.
If you take 2012 to 2032, that's, let's say 21 years, even though it's 20 in the math, but for easy division into thirds, 2012 to 2019 is the first third. We're now in the second third. And what I perceive intuitively is after this equinox, what are we in, June? Back in March, so 3 months ago, we're now building the new era. And when I went to Teotihuacan outside of Mexico City I'm an autumn equinox girl. That's my birthday. And I went there for one of my birthdays in 2019, and we hired a native guide. And I asked him, okay, so what do you think are thanks, Betty.
Betty is saying powerful awareness. Yeah.
I'd be interested to know what you're talking about, Betty, because I'm aware I'm talking about stuff I didn't expect to, because there's listeners out there who really,
I wasn't expecting it either, but we know to just go with the flow, and what shows up is meant to be shared. So it's all good.
Rock on. All right. So Kim and listeners, so I'm going with it, as we always do. I'm in Teotihuacan. We have a hired native guide, and I had been talking about this now for 8 years at that point, the Mayan galactic alignment. And I asked him, what do you make as the difference between the old era and the new one, or the old paradigm and the new one? And he said the old one was the old one was one of destruction. The new one of construction. Around 2016, I wrote about it in my second book, the first one I published with Keith. I had discovered from working on so many clients, a co-creators channel that had, like, so many of my clients had their heart chakra and the throat chakras coming online. it was wild. And so I came to name it the Co-Creators Channel, because what that means, if we're in a time of construction, is our choices, which is come from the fifth chakra, our creativity. We create our lives with every choice. Are how we're going to construct this new era. And the more our hearts are open and our higher vibrations are informing our consciousness to make more conscious, heart-centered choices, the better the paradigm and new era is that we create. So everything that wasn't working had to be broken down. You see Me Too, you see Black Lives Matters, or you see protests in all these different countries that typically don't have protests in the street. You see all of the old dysfunction of misalignments where there's been abuse of power, where there's been a misbalance between masculine and feminine within us. Like even when we're forcing and making happen and going at things instead of allowing, listening to the intuition, and then we step out with the action, inspired by listening internally, so the yin and yang are balanced. It's a whole new time to learn to live in, and the old had to crumble. So when you said about 7 minutes ago, Kim, I feel like we're getting help to have a double ending. It isn't from this perspective of me only. It's from this much bigger thing that's going on.
A collective perspective, a collective cleansing, clearing out, releasing. You mentioned, okay, so then you mentioned this was now the second phase of it. Is this also going to last about 9 years, like the first phase, and then we start a third one, or do we have any insights on that?
I was just about to say, I don't know.
Okay.
But I do, because I feel like I've divided it into 3/3 just to be able to help people see we've gotten around the bend.
Yeah.
Realistically, I intuitively perceive that it's 2 chunks. We've gone through most of the breaking down, and it's in part why things feel so unstable. And you can look at COVID and you could just logically say on the surface of 3D reality, it's because of COVID. We don't know what the new normal is, but COVID was a part of that cleansing. The bigger picture is the new normal. COVID's going to help create a better one. Apparently COVID was needed. I don't typically philosophize about COVID because I've been talking about this since 2011, but nonetheless, the new era is being built and people don't know what that looks like yet because it hasn't been built yet. So a whole lot of trust and a whole lot of surrender is needed right now. And people are just clamping down on, you might have a more controlling mind because it's wanting to know right now instead of living in the trust and surrender. So I want to give you guys a clearing, but Kim, I want to invite you to name it. Do you want help with having a new beginning now? Do you want help with trust and surrender, meeting less control? What do you want?
I think that's a good one because like the word that comes up for me is harmony, because we're talking about, so deconstructing and constructing, but then we don't know. And so there's this kind of pause, but I also really believe that, yes, we are pausing, but we are also part of the construction. We are here to co-create with it. Yeah. What'd you say?
Totally.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I just want to make sure to really highlight that aspect of it. It's not just as simply of, okay, I'm going to stay in this space of uncertainty for forever and never do anything until they create the new world. Right. We are here to each create the new world. And what does that mean and look like for each of us individually and collectively? I mean, that's the big piece of it, but we can't do collective without our, doing ourselves as part of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes. So,
you're so fun. Yeah. So you choose, because I trust that your audience, and I have some of my audience here too, because I did post that this is live, but speak for yourself. What would you like a clearing on that would help you the most right now? And activation. I'm not talking about just getting rid of the old. I'm talking about activating the positive of it, the empowerment of it.
Right. Well, I love that you use the word magic a lot, and
cool. That's good feedback. Thanks.
Yeah, magic. So I'm just going to throw out a few words and see if there's something here. So magic, harmony. I'm going to throw in money there.
Yeah, I work with it all the time.
Yeah, I'm going to say something that encapsulates the creation of money with magic and harmony and allowing it to be fun and easy and flow and all of that. How about that?
This is perfect. Did you know my signature program's called Magic, Manifestation, and Money Flow?
Yes, I read about you. Yeah, so I know you've.
Okay.
Yeah, but that also feels right for now, especially because you specialize in it. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, when I came back from Asia, that I had increased my net cash flow by 60%. I was tucked away, living in abundance. And when I came back and expected to work with health and wellness from a holistic perspective in the spiritual path, people who were put in front of me were so worried about the market crash that I had to address what they needed. I had to address what they were ready to receive. And so I became ridiculously and unexpectedly proficient in money blocks.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really fun though, because, all right, so I love that you brought up harmony too, because you're really reading my field. Yeah.
That balance, but the flow of both and all. That's what I want. I want that inclusion piece. You get a harmony.
Harmony and money?
The inclusion of being a powerful creator while also knowing how to be in flow and surrender and trust. So that combination of taking action while also knowing when to pause and be in flow and allow.
Okay. I do want to say that they happen simultaneously. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to throw that wrench in there.
That's okay.
Because I could be taking inspired action on one aspect of my life, like one revenue stream, while I'm in flow receiving information about another revenue stream's creative next project. So I'm seeding one thing so I don't want people to think it's that black and white. I know we do that when we working with.
And that's good for you to share that then. So we can have that understanding and clarity around that too, that it's okay to have both going on simultaneously. That's good.
Yeah.
How is the audience feeling about doing a clearing with Dr. Alison on the harmony, money, magic, flow, all of that? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments here. I'm sorry. What else were you going to say?
No, I feel like I loved watching your body move as if you were doing Qigong. That was fun.
I've started standing for these shows, and because you are today's guest, I figured, you know what, I'm going to use my colorful background, which I've actually only been using for my Inspirational Message Mondays. But I was like, no, yeah, this feels fun today.
Yeah, I love it. It matches too, by the way, your background. So
yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, it's nice.
All right. Helene's saying she'll go for it. Okay, awesome, Helene. Love it.
And I'm going to listen to my intuition, because I'm going to just go in. I'm going to start the clearings, and then I'll listen to the guidance about how to frame what you're asking for better, Kim.
Okay.
And get at what you're actually voicing and not voicing to help.
Okay.
Always in surrender to my guidance. That's when I teach my students, the people who are becoming vibrational upgrade practitioners, how to channel the light and work with the light in their intuition. It's always, we don't have to necessarily know. The light has a divine intelligence of its own, and all we have to do is flow it. Like, we're not responsible for knowing the priorities of what this person needs. It's the brilliance of it. I mean, and it makes me have the title I have on the first book I published with Keith, Vibrational Upgrade: A Conspiracy for Your Bliss. Our systems are designed to be not in struggle and not in suffering, but in thriving and in our bliss, if we just learn how to get out of the way of it and master it instead.
Yeah, well, and that right there is evidence of, for anyone who's thinking, what, I can't just surrender. Like, you just gave, you kind of just gave proof, right? That's just it. You don't even have to know all those things. The light will come in and do its work. So
yeah, and Kim and listeners, we are so hampered by the over influence on our intellect in the West, and the lack of emphasis on our spirit, because it's the mind. I used to teach psychology, AP Psych in the classroom. It was my first major, along with English literature, that ultimately became my major, just to be clear. I didn't finish that psych major because I didn't like what they were teaching. But nonetheless, I ended up teaching AP Psych, and it was after decades of meditating at that point, and I was seeing the confluence. Our minds, when we get a new piece of information through the 5 physical senses, go based on what it knows. It goes into the files to label apple as an apple based on what it's experienced before. So you can't go to the mind to experience something beyond what you're familiar with. You have to surrender to access the new. It's the wrong equipment, the wrong tool.
And that's a really good point to make, as we're in this space of co-creation. It's not just external co-creation, but even how we process and how we think and how we I love that you just shared that, how we are receiving information and what we're doing about it, co-creating even that process. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, Kim, and it's so funny watching us have this interview and watching you take these. I love the way you do feedback. It's fun.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yes. I feel like what I'm doing is I'm helping restore the understanding of it's all here. Our work is here. And as we do this work, because we're living in higher vibrational times now, the holograph, we're affecting even more people with our heart opened than we did even 10 years ago. So just keep the focus turned inward and then create outward. You can get responses from the universe, like the synchronicities of a butterfly or a certain animal medicine showing up at a certain time.
Helene is saying, oh, I believe she's saying, oh, I know Spirit is walking in this show and I'm going to get touched once again. And Betty is saying, Helene, you are giving chills.
All right. So we're leading up into the clearing, but I just want to make it clear, like this is the major message behind my mission is that our power isn't in the external and expecting things in the external to change and dictate our lives. All of our power, like our daily choices are made with only at most 10% conscious energy. All the rest of them are made from our unconscious and subconscious, what I refer to as the back of the house consciousness. So when you learn to drive, you say, put the car in reverse, put the car in drive, put foot on brake, but you don't do it anymore.
Right.
So the subconscious has all those robotics in it. And then there's all the unconscious conclusions about how the world works that we get wired with this beautiful childlike logic when we're kids. So if we have a sibling who's older than us and the older sibling gets that yummy attention from mom and we want that same feeling, we'll ask, how do I get that same feeling? And we'll notice the older sibling is doing a certain behavior, like listening a lot and not talking. And so we'll have the childlike conclusion, I get loving feeling and approval when I listen a lot and don't talk. And so we'll end up with lifelong, until we work with it, blockage around speaking up for ourselves, and which blocks the fifth chakra, which also blocks the creativity in your courage, and in all the co-creation happens from here. So when we work with clearing out, which we're getting ready to do, what I call the back of the house consciousness, it then comes more to the front of the mind consciousness. So the choices that you're making in the moment are less habitual, less robotic, and more conscious, so that you let yourself drive that different way to work, or you let yourself go to that different restaurant, or you let yourself go to that different website, or you let yourself stop doing one thing that you're totally used to and just not doing it anymore, leaving space for something new to fill it that's more appropriate for you and better for you now.
Oh, sounds very opening and expansive. And I love even just hearing you talk about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's not just me talking about it. It's the work I'm up to day in and day out, and people get those results and live from that expansiveness, Kim. That's what I'm up to, is living from that expansiveness, not from the intellect that squeezes down and contracts us from its old conclusions and ideas about how the world works, and it doesn't even work that way anymore. And if we're co-creating a new reality, we're making new choices.
And you work with people, I know, in groups. Do you still work with people one-on-one as well, or just...
The people who are in my mastermind who are being trained to become vibrational upgrade practitioners get one-on-ones with me. And then I have a few long-term clients. I do here and there take on new, I mean, if it's a huge yes, I will take on new one-on-one clients, but it's not to the main.
Okay. So, I don't know, just curious about that, because this is very special, what she's about to do for us. And I know you also have free activation recordings that people can download and access as well. So I'm excited, Dr. Alison. Does this feel like a right time?
Yeah. So the free activation that she's talking about will be really good to follow up after what I'm going to do now. It's if you go to my website, vibrationalupgrade.com, there's a clearings around the typical blocks to success. And people rave about that. It actually surprises me. Because to me, it's like, I just whip those off. It's not one of my woohoo, and other people just rave about it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Then there's products in the shop too. The chakra series is really the life changer. And that's part of the main one of the main threads of Magic Manifestation and Money Flow, my signature program, because it's so potent. So if you want to do a self-assessment on your own blocks and which chakras might be the most blocked, there's a self-assessment tool on my website for the chakra series. And then there's actually sample clearings underneath each chakra. So you guys might get a little bit drowsy. You might get a little bit spacey. So I don't want you attending to like a senior or a toddler or driving while you're listening, please, because it is going to shift you into another level of consciousness. It might sound like all I'm doing is words, but I'm like a fine-honed flute. I've been using my whole system for so long in this clearing way that you've been getting cleared the entire time I've been talking, because my field just naturally does that, and it activates your latent keys and codes. So it can seem like I'm just talking, but you might notice, depending on your level of perceptivity, tingling in your fingers. Your palms might tingle. You might notice heat. You might yawn. You might twitch. You might have a momentary pain where the energy is now, like, let's say the throat chakra has been blocked, so it's not turning out the vital life force energy, and then we got an opening. So chronic neck tightness might all of a sudden get hit with the light, and so as it releases that chronic tightness, it gets a little bit of pain that you register. So I don't want you to conclude the pain. The pain is the pain. It's during. So thank you.
Yeah.
The movement of the energy as we move out blocks, it's going to actually get more energy flowing in your system, or more consciousness flowing in your system. So you're going to want to probably close your eyes.
Dr. Alison, I'm going to take myself off screen while you do this. Are you okay with that? Or would you rather me stay?
So in order for you, I kind of want to hit you with this clearing, Kim, because you do so much good in the world. I want to, if you're there visually, I get to nail you.
Okay. So you're going to nail me. Okay. I'm here. I will stay right here. That's all good then. I'll just mute myself so that we only hear you.
Okay.
Is that good? Okay, here we go.
All right. So just listening for a moment. I'm going to be silent as I invoke and get into that space. Any and all aspects of how life has been for you, including but not limited to how money shows up for you. That blocks out the innate magic to life. Would you be willing to burn up with the flames of transmutation? And this is where you all would want to say yes, either out loud, or you can type it in, or just say yes out loud. It invites the energy into you more. So any and all karma as appropriate. That's in any way causing how you've gotten conditioned and habituated to how life shows up for you, including how money shows up for you. That is limiting the amount of magic that can show up in your life. We're burning up all of that karma as appropriate. Whether you're listening live now or to the recording, replay. Any and all contracts, oaths, vows, swearings across all timelines and lifetimes, including but not limited to vows of poverty, all beliefs, decisions, judgments, expectations, and projections at all levels of consciousness around how life has shown up for you, including but not limited to how money has shown up for you, that's in any way limiting or restricting the amount of sheer magic that you can have in this next life phase, this new life phase for you now, burning all of those up at all levels of consciousness, including the conscious mind. Seems like part of really what's wanting to get cleared up live now with those of you I'm perceiving is a habit with money, habit with how much you're used to having come in, how much you're used to being at a certain level, and money it requiring a certain type of action or level of action or volume of action in order to get that money. I.e., the harder I work, the more money I'll earn. The more actions I take, that leads to the more money, including money doesn't like me, I'm bad with money. All of these are conclusions at an unconscious or subconscious level. And the habit itself of how you've been with money, where it's limiting the amount of magic, and any habits in your life that are limiting the amount of magic that can flow in. That's coming up now as I continue to move on to, while that continues to clear, to the any and all free-floating thoughts and traumas that continue to perpetuate the past, habituate you to how things have been, rather than the brand new day it is today and is meant to be. All imprints from your parents and lineage, including how they were with money, that in any way is limiting or restricting money showing up more harmoniously, or your relationship with money becoming more magical, and your overall life becoming more magical, burning up with the flames of transmutation, any and all of those imprints from your parents and lineage, as well as any and all conditioning. So scooping all of that up now that it was just named and what's not named, that's in any way restricting or limiting your ability to move into this new life phase, this new day, this new era, this new time, with even more connection to the magic inherent in life and in magic inherent in you. Bring it all up now with the flames of transmutation. I'm hearing a lot of conclusions intellectually that you've gotten to at this point. A lot of them want to give way so you can take on new ideas and concepts that will help you more now moving forward. I'm hearing you've done a lot of good learning, and it's gotten you where you are today. There's like this whole new life that wants to open up, and with less ideas about how it should be showing up will allow it to show up with even more harmony and magic. I'm going to go ahead and activate the upgrade now. So any and all latent keys and codes and ancient wisdom within you. And any and all blessings. And support possible to bring this all into alignment for your highest possibility and your highest potential to be realized. Activating the upgrade now. Some of you may want to get your feet on the ground. And don't worry if you didn't perceive anything. It doesn't mean nothing's happening. I noticed like around 2011 or 2012, it's no longer you have to believe in it in order for it to work. It was working even with doubters. Yeah. And you can come back and listen to this replay and reuse the clearing and activation. And it will clear out at new levels each time you do and activate you at new levels each time.
Thank you, Dr. Allison. You know, wait, is my audio okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Something happened there on my end.
Yeah, you're a little floaty, loopy. Look at you.
Okay. Oh my goodness. When you did, I don't even know what you said now, but you held out a long tone. That was almost, I was like, did she just do a singing bowl or is that her voice? That was so beautiful. And I mean, that was awesome. I've never heard someone's voice be like that. I thought you really had used an instrument of some kind.
Thank you. Yeah, I've done tone healing through my voice. I've been aware of it for a long time. And I saw you smile when I was doing it. It was fun to watch your reaction.
That was awesome. Well, for those who are with us live, let us know what that was like for you. I'm a very visual person, so I tend to, have visuals of what's going on. And for me, just, the energy first showed up on one side that it was leaving. And then at one point it shifted over and kind of opened up more. And so it was a nice experience. And I love getting those visuals. Anyway.
I thought too, Kim, for you that there was some level of opening.
Yeah.
And increased expansiveness in front of your heart. And so in the Chinese and yogic, both cultures, they say that their belief is the spirit resides in the higher heart chakra, which is halfway between the genuine heart chakra and the throat chakra. And so if that's the case, when we have more of our essence expanding, and it just can be so much easier. How does it get any better than this is an invite that you can use to life when it's showing up the way you want and it's not showing up the way you want for it to get better. And that is from Access Consciousness from Gary Douglas. And I had them on my radio show. And as I was telling Kim at the start, I love their work with applied. I consider it like meditation in action. Okay.
Oh, nice. Okay. Helene saying, Spirit did come here today. Amen. And Betty was saying, awesome download. I think this was maybe from earlier, but yes. So, okay. So we still have not yet talked about your newest book. Thank you for the clearing and activation that you just did for us. And now will you share with us a little bit more about your newest book?
This is it. It's called the Dragon Master Creatrix.
Okay.
Conversations with a female spiritual teacher for these new times.
Awesome.
And it's different. I've had a couple of people, this is my nickname that you talked about in the beginning, Lightning Bolt. I've had a couple of people who've interviewed me, commented and read the book, commented about how it was like different from my other work. And
okay.
I feel like it's they're saying it's different because it's in fiction form, and the journey or path of one of my students. It's modeled after her in typical students' experiences when being on retreat, flying internationally, and to meet me and get trained in energy medicine and applied mindfulness, which is what Vibrational Upgrade is, and taken to power spots, sacred spots, stone circles, and how their systems react, and getting attunements. And she goes into it with the question of, do I want to stay with my husband? And comes out of it with an answer, which is interesting. But the beginning of each chapter has that narration story form, and the second half of each one is questions and answers, more like the yogic style, where you ask a yogic teacher or guru a question, and then they espouse their wisdom in an answer. But it's not just it's pretty advanced. But it's not just advanced about spiritual concepts. It's questions in there that are they're all literally from my students. Like, how do I stop caring so much what other people think about me?
Mm. That's a good one to release for sure.
Yeah.
Tell me about, I know in addition to this book, you have another book and they both have the word dragon in it. And I don't know much about dragons, but will you share like the significance of that in the title?
Yeah, 2 of my 4 books, the last 2 books have had dragons in the title. The one prior to the Dragon Master Creatrix is Reasonable Dragons, and that's on audibles.com. It's my only book that is, and people have been loving that too. And they tell me I should promote it more, so there you go. The dragons, they have the original ley lines on the planet, like the meridians that the planet, the Earth, has chakras and meridians, or what energy travels along. The Earth does, just like the human body. And so when people are getting trained in Vibration Upgrade System, the first 2 levels, they're learning about the way energy flows in the human body and how to work with it and how to clear blocks. And then the next level is teaching others that and tuning others to that. And the next level is Dragon Master. And the final level is Grand Dragon Master. So they go from learning about how energy flows in themselves and then in others to then how it does in the earth and helping the earth. And so the dragons, the original ley lines were called dragon lines, Lung Mei in Chinese. And like they would build, it's the concept of feng shui, not just interiorly, but exteriorly. So like they have really wild roofs over there in Taiwan, and I never made it to mainland. I only went to Hong Kong. I didn't want to go to mainland, but their roofs are they would either slant a roof or position a roof so that the chi could fly, wouldn't be blocked, so the chi could make its way through a village when they perceived it coming in a certain way and meaning a certain something. So
that's really cool. I didn't know that was the reason behind it. I love knowing that. Wow. That just shows how important and how, I want to say, integrated into applying knowledge of energy that the East is.
Kim, that's why I moved there, because I understood that they and the Hindu Indian yogic culture were the ones who not only had 5,000 years of understanding of how energy works and consciousness works, so far beyond a psychology major and university level in America, that they also were applying it and using it in the daily lives, still living from it. Like in the West, we had alchemy. We had some of these understandings, but they went underground, like around the Age of Reason and the Enlightenment, like around the 1700s, late 1600s. And so it's been underground in secret societies and mystery schools in the West ever since, and we've been living from the intellect. That's what the Age of Reason brought in. And so that's why I moved there, to understand that people who were still functioning from it and organizing their society from it. And so I returned to the States with that inversion, with the understanding of the traditional Chinese medical statement, which acupuncture is a part of, which is where chi goes, meaning vital life force energy. Chi is the same as ki and Reiki, same as prana and yoga. Where chi goes, blood follows. And I add on where consciousness goes, and chi goes, and then blood follows. So that's their understanding of the physical is less important. What's more important is what you do with your consciousness and your energy, because your energy is going to follow along your consciousness, and then the physical is going to fill in. Quantum physics says the same thing. Here it is in wave form at the subatomic level, and then when we have an insistent repeated thought, or trauma or an intense thought, it takes the wave and collapses it into a particle or physicalizes it. So we are the ones creating the physical reality. And the only way to change how the physical reality around us is showing up is by working with our consciousness at the different levels and our energy, so that we then, so yes, some people maybe I can feel it. I'm hearing the law of attraction in this. And so my students tell me, Dr. Alison, I got turned on by the law of attraction, but you actually show me the how.
Such an intelligent conversation today about energy. This is, it's
Fun.
yeah, it's awesome. You are filling in the gaps, helping to just helping everyone to hear it differently and understand it better. So that's really awesome.
Good. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, fist bump. Yes. Okay. So I asked Dr. Alison, I said, and I don't know if you even remember this, but I asked her, what does letting your light shine mean? Because in 2021, we are all about letting your light shine. We launched the Let Your Light Shine movement in March 2021, and we are on this roll, having fun with it, shining our light and really tapping into that and getting clear on what that means for you. So here was Dr. Alison's answer. She said, it means to be as light and bright and living up to all that our divinely granted life force allows us to do and be, unique to ourselves. And I love that. Would you like to elaborate on that, or anything else you want to add to that?
Just that life force means, the full translation of chi or prana or ki is universal life force energy. Pardon me, universal vital life force energy. So vital, obvious, life force, the force of our lives, energy. So that's what it means there when it says granted life force. And I part of that too is divinely granted, because we seem to take like our mother's unconditional love, or our breath, or the energy that keeps us alive, or our digestive system for granted. Maybe our digestive system and our physical health a little bit less after the years and a plus spent with COVID. But I feel like we're ignoring, because it's not bigger, it's not louder, it's not externalized. We're ignoring where our power actually is, and we're taking it for granted.
Well, and I hear also kind of where I thought you were going with that is about limiting how we see ourselves based on how, say, our parents saw us or treated us or something of that nature. I mean, that's what you're saying too, right? Is that?
Well, that was part. So where I say to be is living up to. So all of the things that I listed in that clearing.
Got it.
The imprints from the parents are included, as is the conditioning. So anything that could cause us not to live up to in the old program, right, specific to parental imprints and conditioning is a part of it. Yes.
Okay. Got it. Okay. And then I asked her if she had an empowering quote that she'd like to share with us beyond the one that she just shared. And Dr. Alison said, awake, alive, and ready to thrive. Tell us about this quote.
Well, it's one of my, it's my second tagline. My first one is make your mind your ally. And that was when I was still, I think that was even before I left for Asia, when I was teaching meditation and running energy medicine sessions. This is about understanding a hell of a lot more down the line about what having vital life force energy running throughout your system creates.
I'm almost wanting to ask you a question that would, aside from the mind, is there anything else that you see a pattern of people allowing to get in the way of the flow of their life force? And if they would stop doing that, they could have more expansion and thriving.
Yeah, being so externally focused.
Okay. Being
led by what's happening out here, and not creating the time in their lives to be a bit more still, go out in nature a bit more. Not church, not synagogue, not mosque, but when you're not doing devotional active practices, yoga, whatever, you're instead in a space where you're able to be more expansive, like you felt during that clearing. Mm-hmm. You can actually connect in with and bring forth more of that part of you. People live too much from the mind and their old beliefs are what's causing the conclusions that you hear of the thoughts you do hear in your mind. And we only hear like 10%, as I was saying, of the actual thoughts in our mind. So rather than paying attention to those and rather than paying so much attention to the external world, those are the two blocks, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. We've got a few more comments. Let me just take a look at what's going on here. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Betty is saying energy is my favorite topic. And thank you for sharing this awesome show. You're welcome, Betty, for sure. And just, you guys are all nice. You're complimenting each other. So awesome, awesome. Okay, well, one of the things I like to do, Dr. Alison, is and I have this habit of saying doctor with the first name. Are you okay with that? I've been doing that the whole show.
People tend to do. It's all good. You just naturally flew into it.
Okay,
Thanks.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things I love to do is to pull cards at the end, just a card at the end.
Fun!
Oh, good. She's excited too. Okay. Okay, so because you're all about chakras, I have a very generic chakra deck that is pretty awesome.
Don't use that one, Kim. Use the one you were going to use. Don't use the chakra one, please.
No. This was the. I could pull something. I have the Rebel deck. I don't know if you know what the Rebel deck is.
Please. I know too much about the chakras that I'll have a hard time with somebody else's interpretation of it. I won't be able to use them as well.
Okay, now, do you know what the Rebel deck is?
Exactly what I just talked about. Do I know what? No.
It uses curse words.
Good.
Okay, hang on, everybody. 1 second. Let me just grab it over here.
Fuck yeah. Thanks for your flexibility, Kim.
Okay, this is one of my newest decks, and it's a lot of fun. But again, I just feel like I always have to preface, if you have virgin ears, you may not enjoy this deck. This one is the deck with a kick, and
nice subtitle. Deck with
yeah, it really is. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to first just knock on the deck, do some light shuffling, and then I would love to have you assist me in this. So in a moment here, we'll have you say stop when it feels right for you, and whichever card is on top, or sometimes the card pops out, that of course will be the card. So, okay, whenever you're ready. Oh, we have one that already came out.
I'm not surprised.
Okay. You need a good effing cry. Get the ugly cry on. Let that switch go. Your soul will thank you. Let's do one more.
Yeah.
Okay. So, whenever it feels right for, oh my God, they're falling all over the place. Okay, so you can say stop whenever it feels right for you.
Yeah.
There? Okay. Okay, we have here, it says, time to let go.
Yes, crying will do.
Move the F on. And one more over here is, okay, these are just funny. So I don't know if these are resonating with the audience today. It says, have you eaten? You are acting like a big baby. You need food in your belly. Eat an effing taco.
Kim, you know what's funny is that I put off breaking my fast. I do intermittent fasting, and I is what I'm going to step into as soon as we're complete here.
Well, okay, so it does resonate. Okay,
Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. It was a lot of fun, and thank you to everyone who was with us today. Helene is saying thank you, Dr. Alison.
Thank you, Helene.
And
great,
yeah,
book user.
And okay, and yeah, and Helene's laughing, her poor ears. Absolutely. Okay. So, Dr. Alison, last but not least, we do want to remind everyone to connect with you over at vibrationalupgrade.com. And is there anything else you'd like to tell everyone about how they can connect with you and work with you and all that stuff? Again?
Well, it's funny, you pulled out the Rebel deck, and I have a video called The Maverick Dragon on both my YouTube channel, and it's within Facebook's universe as well on an ad. And so I know I've been beyond a rebel. I've been a maverick, a pioneer, and beyond a pioneer, a maverick. And so that's a good video to watch if you come across it while you're on Facebook and scrolling, or you're on YouTube. Activate Your Magic is like the way to step into receiving what I do. So if you want to check that out, just go to activateyourmagic.com. It's the lowest price point beyond like going into the shop and getting the chakra series. But I also want to suggest that getting yourself support, whether it's me or somebody else, but I know what I do has resulted in, from my request, how do I speed up the results people get with working with me? It's really quick. And so rather than going at it alone, I feel like a lot of people have the resistance to getting the support, thinking they can do it on their own. Using a teacher, getting a coach or a mentor to support you, it's not like there's a big scam that's running. It's just genuine support to help you transform quicker. Let yourself do it. I feel like in the general public, particularly women, there's still a level of discomfort with investing in yourself when it's something that you feel like you can do on your own, and it's something that's invisible, like your own transformation. So you asked me to do a clearing around money. That's what's coming through. I had absolutely no expectation to say that, and I don't typically.
Well, I think that was great. And again, thank you for the clearing that you did earlier, the clearing and activation that you did earlier, which sounded so beautiful. I loved your voice again. I want to hear that again. And so, yes, so everyone who'd like to connect with Dr. Alison J.K., go to vibrationalupgrade.com. Definitely access her free clearings, watch her videos, all of that stuff. And you also have a Facebook group.
Yeah, it's the same name, a free Facebook group.
Okay.
Upgrade.
Awesome. And as we of course. As we begin to close out, I do want to remind everyone that you have an open invitation to join the Let Your Light Shine movement. In fact, Dr. Alison, we are ending the show here, but I did just create a new video. I haven't shared it yet because I actually want to do an extra little tweak to it, but it's for the Let Your Light Shine movement. Would you be open? Do you have a few more minutes? I can just quickly share this little video on screen for everyone. Okay, so I want to share with you the video for the Let Your Light Shine movement. Lots of people joining, and we're ready and so excited to see so many more people join. So let me get that video. It's less than 2 minutes. So let me grab it. Here it is. We'll be right back right after this. Here we go. Today, we are launching the Let Your Light Shine movement. Oh, happy day, everybody.
I'm really happy to be here. I'm so happy that Kim decided to do this.
What is the Let Your Light Shine movement? The Let Your Light Shine movement aims to inspire and empower everyone on the planet to shine their light and be more of their authentic, beautiful self.
I shine my light by being honest, authentic, and sincere.
And I shine my light by being bold, by taking risks.
You are absolutely awesome.
And I choose to let my light shine.
And we all need encouragement when we're on that journey. So encourage someone else today, because if they're living and breathing, they need it.
Can I get an amen?
And as we look to raise the level of consciousness and raise and shift the level of leadership, this is a critical part. I hope you will consider joining this movement, as it takes all of us tapping in and shining our light.
I know that by shining my light, I let others shine theirs. And I know that by you tapping into your gifts, you inspire the people around you.
You already shine. Imagine a world filled with bright lights walking the planet. Free and easy to join. Visit the bit.ly link to join by going to bit.ly/Let Your Light Shine movement.
So go out there, be a light shiner.
This is such an important message, and I hope you let your light shine.
I really believe in this movement.
I choose to let my light shine.
Join the Let Your Light Shine movement today.
That was fun. I love your promo stuff, Kim. You do a really good job with it.
Thank you. I had fun putting that together. So join the Let Your Light Shine movement. Would love to see you there. And of course, the photos of everyone there were lots of the people that have already joined. So, okay, Dr. Alison, any final parting words you'd like to say? No. No, she's shaking her
said
head.
a lot.
You did. It was awesome, though. It was awesome, very fitting. And again, thank you to everyone who was here with us. Let us know what you were taking away from the conversation. And if you found value in this, which I know there's lots, then who can you share it with? Who do you know that would love to hear this message, receive that clearing and an activation? Go ahead and share it with them. And remember, wherever you are today does not have to be where you are tomorrow. Every day is a new day. And thank you so much, Dr. Alison, for expanding on that message and that conversation in such a big, intelligent, global, expansive way today for everyone. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Kim, for playing with me and having me on. It's been fun.
It has. And that's it. Stay right there, Dr. Alison. I will see you all again very, very soon for another Inspirational Message Monday and another awesome guest interview. Have an amazing day, everybody.
Namaste.